Among thousands of anonymous faces in an Oakland Walmart, Steph Curry noticed something no one else saw. Silent tears at checkout 7. An exchanged glance that would change two lives forever. The Oakland Walmart vibrated with its usual routine on a Wednesday afternoon. Shopping carts glided through gleaming aisles, occasional announcements echoed over the loudspeakers, and the constant murmur of conversations filled the space. Normalcy reigned in this branch, where employees, with their blue vests, moved like well-adjusted cogs in the impersonal machine of American retail. Steph Curry pushed a shopping cart discreetly through the organic products section. Wearing a simple cap pulled over his eyes and sunglasses that partially disguised his world-famous face, the Golden State Warriors star hoped to complete his shopping without commotion. Few recognized that the man carefully selecting ripe avocados was the three-time NBA champion, known both for his unmatched shooting and his humility off the court. Unlike many celebrities, Curry and his wife Isha had built a reputation for genuine philanthropy through the Eat, Learn, Play Foundation, dedicated to combating child food insecurity and ensuring quality education for disadvantaged youth in the San Francisco Bay Area. As he approached the checkout area, something caught his attention. Among the organized lines and orderly flow of customers, a subtle dissonance. At checkout 7, a young female employee was struggling to maintain her composure while scanning products. Her hands trembled slightly, and despite forced smiles to customers, stubborn tears escaped, quickly wiped away with the backs of her hands. It was Melissa, as her badge indicated. She appeared to be in her early 20s, black hair tied in a simple bun, pronounced dark circles of someone who doesn't sleep enough. Her movements were mechanical: scan products, enter codes, smile, repeat, while desperately trying to hide the suffering that overflowed. Curry observed uneasily. Most customers passed by without really seeing her, absorbed in their own worlds. An impatient man complained when she hesitated for a second. Another never lifted his eyes from his phone during the entire interaction. Something moved inside him. She wasn't just another anonymous supermarket employee. She was a person going through something profound, alone, amid the indifferent crowd. On impulse, Curry redirected his cart to Melissa's line. When it was finally his turn, he placed his groceries on the conveyor belt and removed his sunglasses. "Is everything okay?" he asked gently as she scanned a package of apples. Melissa looked up, surprised by the genuine question. Then a flash of recognition crossed her face. For a moment, it seemed she would just say the automatic yes that customers occasionally expected. But something in the sincerity of Curry's gaze made her hesitate. She began, her voice trembling slightly as new tears threatened to fall. I'm sorry," Melissa finally replied, quickly wiping away a tear. "I'm fine. Just a difficult day." Curry looked at the line forming behind him. "When does your break start? Can we talk?" 20 minutes later, they met in the small Walmart food court. Melissa sat rigidly, her fingers clutching a cheap coffee cup. She was visibly uncomfortable. An ordinary employee facing a basketball superstar. "You don't need to do this," she said softly. "I know you must have much more important things to do." "At this moment, there's nothing more important," Curry responded kindly. "Sometimes we all need someone who just listens." Melissa's face contracted, and the words began to flow like a broken dam. Her mother had been diagnosed with advanced multiple sclerosis the previous year. As an only child, the responsibility of caring for her fell entirely on her shoulders. "The medications cost a fortune," she explained, her eyes fixed on the table. "Even with Walmart, Insurance covering part, I still spend almost $650 per month on her medical expenses. Curry listened attentively as Melissa detailed her financial reality. Working 40 hours weekly at $18 per hour, her monthly net salary barely reached $2,500. The one-bedroom apartment in Oakland, which she shared with her sick mother, consumed $1,800 in rent. Adding utilities, transportation, and basic necessities, her expenses exceeded $3,450 monthly. "Every month I'm almost $1,000 in the red," she confessed. "I've been working a second job doing deliveries at night, but they're cutting hours." The eviction notice arrived yesterday. Her voice faltered. "We have 15 days to pay the overdue rent or find another place." Melissa told how she had abandoned her dream of becoming a nurse to care for her mother, how she frequently skipped doses of her own medications to pay for her mother's, how she chose between paying bills or buying adequate food. "The worst is seeing my mother blame herself," she said, the tears returning. "She's already tried to convince me to stop her treatment because it's too expensive." Curry observed Melissa's hands, calloused from hard work, short and broken nails. He noticed the deep, dark circles, the uniform slightly too large for her thinned body. Each detail told the story of a person living constantly on the edge. "People pass by me every day," she continued, "buying chocolates that cost more than my daily meal. Carts full of things I can only dream of buying. Normally I can handle it, but today—" She took a deep breath. "Today, the pharmacy called saying my mother's medication increased in price. Another $70 per month that I simply don't have." The contrast between their realities hit Curry like a punch to the stomach. While he had access to the best medical care, millions like Melissa made impossible choices daily between health and basic survival. "I'm sorry for breaking down like this," said Melissa, checking her watch. "My break is over. I need to get back." "I can't just listen to your story and go on my way," Curry said softly as Melissa prepared to return to work. "Wait, give me a few minutes." Curry stepped away and made a call. Melissa watched him gesturing emphatically while talking, occasionally looking in her direction. When he returned, there was determination in his eyes. "My parents taught me that privilege brings responsibility," he began. "Through our eat, learn, play foundation, my wife Isha and I try to make a difference in Oakland. I can't promise to solve everything, but I can offer concrete help." Melissa shook her head. "It's very kind, but I can't accept charity, especially from someone I just met." "It's not charity," Curry replied. "It's an investment in your potential. You're struggling not because you lack effort, but because the system is unbalanced. Let me rebalance it a little." He explained that the foundation operated through 3 pillars: nutrition, education, and physical activity. In your case, we can adapt our protocols. First, we'll resolve the emergency with rent and your mother's medications. Then, we'll work on lasting solutions. Melissa listened, tears flowing freely. "Why would you do this for a stranger?" "Because everyone deserves a fair chance," he responded simply. In the following minutes, Curry activated his team. A bank transfer was authorized to cover 3 months of rent, giving Melissa room to breathe. A consultation with multiple sclerosis specialists was scheduled for her mother the next day at a medical center partnered with the foundation. The foundation's educational program can provide a full scholarship for you to resume your nursing studies, he explained, showing her details on his cell phone. And we have partnerships with hospitals that offer paid internships with flexible hours. While Melissa processed that information, Curry spoke with the Walmart manager. He briefly explained the situation, ensuring more flexible hours for her while organizing her transition. "We don't just want to solve your crisis today," Curry emphasized. "Our foundation believes in sustainable transformations. We'll cover your educational costs and ensure continuous support until you're established in your new career." The manager, impressed with the intervention, offered to adjust Melissa's schedule immediately, allowing her to accompany her mother to medical appointments. Before leaving, Curry virtually introduced Melissa to the Foundation's program coordinator, who explained the next steps. The expression on Melissa's face had transformed. Despair replaced by something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. "How can I thank you?" she asked, her voice choked. "Finish your studies. Become a nurse. And when you're in a position to help someone, do it," Curry responded. "That's how we build stronger communities." As he left Walmart, his phone vibrated. It was a message from Isha approving everything and suggesting they invite Melissa and her mother for dinner when they were more settled. Curry smiled. Sometimes, small moments of attention could trigger extraordinary transformations. 3 months passed since that fortuitous encounter at Walmart. Autumn transformed Oakland into a mosaic of golden and orange colors, just as Melissa's life had transformed into something she could barely recognize. At the Oakland University Medical Clinic, Melissa now worked as an administrative assistant while attending the second semester of nursing school. Her new job, a direct result of Curry's intervention, offered not just a salary 40% higher than Walmart, but also flexibility for her studies and care for her mother. Sandra, Melissa's mother, seated in her newly acquired wheelchair, watched proudly as her daughter sorted her weekly medications. The specialized treatment had stabilized her condition, allowing good days with less pain and greater independence. "I still can't believe we live here," commented Sandra, looking out the window of the disability-adapted apartment they now called home, a place subsidized by the housing program that the Foundation had mediated. Melissa's cell phone vibrated with a notification. It was a message from the support group for caregivers that she had started with other beneficiaries of the new Curry Foundation initiative, Counter of Hope, a program inspired by her own story. The San Francisco Chronicle report about how a casual encounter had inspired Steph Curry to expand his foundation to help workers in financial crisis went viral nationally. Other celebrities began to replicate the model, creating a support network that had already assisted more than 100 families. The previous week, Curry and Isha had finally held the promised dinner. Between laughter and tears, Melissa showed her report card with exemplary grades. "When I graduate," she said firmly, "I want to work with patients like my mother, who need not just medical care, but hope." "You know what impresses me most?" commented Curry as they said goodbye. "It wasn't just the financial resources that changed your life. It was the moment when someone stopped and really saw you. Sometimes, all a person needs is to be truly seen." The following day, passing by Walmart on her way to college, Melissa noticed a tired young mother struggling to control a child while working at the checkout. For the first time, she didn't just see, she stopped to help.